Hey, it's Luke. If you've never heard of the Oberheim DMX drum machine, you're not alone. A lot of people don't know it by name, but I can guarantee that you've heard it before. It's been on so many tracks over the years, from Madonna to Run DMC. New Order used it on Blue Monday. Phil Collins used it. Think about it. He's a drummer, and he used this drum machine. It's gotta sound good. The sound from the Oberheim DMX was all over the radio in the 80s and 90s, and it still shows up today. Even Daft Punk has been known to use it. A developer called GForce turned it into a plugin. They say that it's in association with Oberheim, and it sounds really good. It's got the original sounds and some newer ones. Oh, and this isn't sponsored or anything. I bought this plugin with my own money like a big boy. I've got 5 things that I just love about this plugin, and I'm keeping the best one for last. The first thing I love about this plugin is that you can change the individual sounds from these drop-down lists here. So if we go to the snare, we're hitting... We've basically got 3 different levels, depending on which note we hit. But we can change the snare here to snare B, and it changes it completely. But the interesting thing is, if we go to one of these presets here, actually, let's just do a random preset. And then if we go back here, so these are the sounds it chose. Let's say we want to change these toms because we don't like them. We can change the toms, but the rest of the preset stays the same. So it's really nice to be able to just switch out one of the sounds without having to change everything. And that also makes it easy to audition different sounds. Number 2 is how much you can customize or adjust each sound. If you go to this knobs button here, you can see you've got so many things that you can adjust. You can adjust the delay and the reverb, how much it's sending up here, and then you can adjust these effects as well. You can adjust the pitch for each of these sounds. You can adjust the decay. If you just want the beginning little click, you don't want it too long, or you can have a longer sound. You can do the pan left or right, which you might not want to do on a kick drum, but if you can make it work, go ahead. You can adjust the gain. The decay can be really useful on shakers if you want to have it just a little sound that's almost like a short hi-hat. And something I just noticed now, because I was going to tell you that panning toms can sound really good, having some on the left and some on the right. But I just noticed that the tom 1 here and tom 2, they're panned already. So that's an interesting little touch. It just saves you a little bit of time. Their website says there are 336,468,800 possible combinations before effects. So yeah, it's customizable. And this velocity button here is interesting as well. All it really does, I'm pretty sure, is it just sets up an accent on everything. So any sound you hit will be at 100% or 127 MIDI. It makes it easier to find the sounds you're looking for because you don't have to be hitting that key really hard every time. And you'll notice a lot of these sounds will have, the first one is a lower velocity and the other one seems to be the same one with a bit of a harder velocity. In this case, it sounds like the 3 are the same on the kick drum, but on other sounds, they're all different. Like this one is 2 rides and a crash. What I'd love to see on here, though, is an attack knob that would be really useful with these shakers to have it sort of fade in or to have the hi-hats a little bit softer or things like that. Number 3 is these MIDI files that are included when you get the plugin. And the reason they're really useful is when you load up this plugin for the first time, you don't really know what to do and you're trying a few sounds just randomly. But if you load one of these MIDI files in, since this plugin doesn't have a built-in sequencer, you can have a beat to get you started. And while the beat is going, you can try different presets. And it can give you a good idea of what the plugin can sound like. The interesting thing about these MIDI files is they're not just a very, very basic beat that repeats. They've got some variations to them. So you can tell this one's got a few variations here and there. You can try different beats too. This one's interesting. This one's really built up. So you can go back into the plugin and try some different presets with it. You can tell how much variation you have just from that same beat. So you can have a whole lot of fun between these MIDI files and the presets to give you a starting point, to help you understand how the plugin works, and then you can work on your own beats and sounds as time goes by. Okay, I think I used this earlier. I should have kept it secret till now, but it's this random button here. and it's a whole lot of fun. You can be playing the sounds as you're hitting the random button. And once you find something that you really like, you can just close this and start adjusting from there. The other thing I like in here is that you can choose the category you want. If you want bright, these would be great for pop music. So it gives you a whole bunch of choices and you can randomly try to find that perfect sound. Okay, I mentioned number 5 was the most interesting, and this is why. In their documentation, there's a list of all of the sounds that are in the plugin, and they're explained really well. I've rarely seen this in the manual for a synth or drum machine. I know Reason had it for the Subtractor synth years ago, or maybe it was the Maelstrom. Either way, not a lot of developers do this, and it's especially useful with this plugin because it does have the original sounds and some variations. So it'll say the DMX kick A is a classic DMX kick sound. So it's this sound here. But then we can look at different ones like this DMX kick mod. They say it's a DMX B kick with digital EQ and other enhancements. So that's this one here. I like this one here, the DMX kick taped, a DMX kick resampled through a small degrading tape machine, which we'll listen to right here. Yeah, you can really tell it's got that lo-fi feel. And there's this other lo-fi one. And you've got descriptions for all of the different sounds, hi-hats, the toms. There are a lot of them in here. The cymbals, the percussions, just every sound is described in detail. And that's just really nice to have. Something I'd love to see added in here in the future is individual outs, because right now everything's going to the same stereo output. So if you want to mix individual drums differently, you have to use either multiple instances of the plugin, or you'll have to use these mute and solo buttons and export the audio of each drum separately. But that can be limiting because if you want to make any changes, you'll have to come back and do it all over again. I'm hoping they add that in the future because it would be so useful. So that is what I love about this plugin. I'm hoping it can help you make a decision if you're thinking of getting it. If you do have it already, I hope you're making some fantastic music with it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.